Feeling alone, overwhelmed? Low-key listening is here to help. Whether you want to vent, share your thoughts, or just have someone truly listen to you, we have real people standing by, ready to listen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can download the app for free on Apple App Store or Google Play. Simply set up an account, find someone, and they will listen to what you have to say. You can actually even take voice memo notes and send them to the person. You can even text the person. Here's the best part. It is completely anonymous, not only for you, but the person listening. Because after all, don't we want somebody there willing to listen to us? Download the Low-Key app today. Talk, be heard, and feel better. Low-Key listening on your favorite app store.
Welcome to Elegance in Every Step. I'm your maitre d', Mary Postlethwaite. We hope you've come famished. We've prepared the finest table just for you. Our special today is Hungry, a dish we've been perfecting for 21 seasons now. Your table is alongside another guest. It might feel a bit unusual. However, we encourage you to dive in and hear their story. Today, we're serving up a conversation about craving the right things in life. Sit back, enjoy a complimentary appetizer. Your host, Neil Matthews, will be along shortly to guide you through today's meal. Bon appetit.
Ah, yes. Welcome in. We have reached the final meal. This is our last meal. Got me thinking this morning, this afternoon, and this evening, like what your last meal would be. Would it be ribeye? Maybe a baked potato with some sprinkled bacon bits on top? That sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds delicious. My guest today, by the way, she said in our preliminary chitty chat that she's ready to end hunger today. That is our goal. That is our mission. We're going to end hungry and hunger today. Okay, maybe not. We did call this season Hungry. Maybe in a sense we are ending all things that you've maybe hungered for and thirsted after today. Well, let's see if that holds true. Help me welcome in my new friend, Megan. Megan, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks, Neil. How are you?
I know it's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah, to end hunger, but I think we're up for the challenge.
Heal the world.
Yeah, let's go.
Michael Jackson style.
Absolutely.
Now I have that song stuck in my head. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and for future generations. I'm messing that up. Michael would be disappointed that I don't know that.
You didn't do your homework.
Clearly, I didn't do my homework. Megan, thanks for joining us today. We're really excited to meet you and hear more of your story. So as we get going, help us with this. I know you're in the Big Bear area.
Yeah.
A lot of bears. In fact, you could maybe make a drinking game or a kid game, whichever you want, on how many bears you see in the Big Bear area as you drive through Big Bear.
Yes. I mean, depending on the time of day, they really don't like to be seen that much. In any sort of busy area, they kind of hide until nighttime, dusk, dawn kind of situation. But yeah, we see them a lot.
Are there still statues of bears around Big Bear?
Everywhere. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the game I was thinking of, is like if you played like Slug
yeah.
Bug or the bears, like every time you saw a bear, you like got to punch somebody hugged somebody.
That's what you meant to say for sure.
We're doing enough punching as it is. We need more hugs.
Driving, people. No punching while driving.
We need more hugs, less punching, more hugs.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be on a shirt. Hug more, punch less. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll work on it.
So.
Around Big Bear, what shoes might we find you wearing as you skip on down the road or ease on down the road, some would say?
I mean, I suppose it depends on if I'm skipping or easing. I'm a really big fan of flip-flops, unless it is below 50 degrees. Neil's shaking his head at me. Unless it's below 50 degrees, I'm probably in flip-flops. And then outside of that, my favorite go-to is Uggs, unless I'm actually doing something. Hiking shoes for hiking, snowboarding boots for snowboarding. You know, if I'm just chilling, if it's freezing, Uggs, and if it's not, flip-flops.
I'm shaking my head because it seems like everyone wants to come on and talk about flip-flops. I'm like, this isn't other people's flip-flops. That's not like an iteration of the show. The whole premise is shoes. So when we say, shoes. What pair of shoes might we find you in? And somebody always says, well, I think I'm going to wear flip-flops. I'm like, they're not shoes.
They are shoes. They're just minimalist. They're minimalist shoes. Isn't that all the rage now? That's like the big push, being a minimalist. My feet are too.
I don't identify as a minimalist. Maybe that's my problem. I even have a shoe on my microphone. My microphone even has a shoe.
Super cute. It's super cute.
Super cute, right? Bought a pair of shoes actually for my golf putter. Saw it online and I thought that's a cool idea. So I'm going to put a shoe on my golf putter. And then I was like, what am I going to do with the other shoe? Because, there's always two pairs.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I going to do with that? And then I put it at the end of my microphone and so many people have been like, that's really clever.
It's very clever.
I know. I'm just a clever kind of guy. Megan, when we talk about this amazing season that we've walked through called Hungry and had so many amazing guests, there have been some good conversations I have walked away with going, wow, that was a perspective shift. Again, putting a lot of pressure on Megan today. But when you think about this idea of hungry or even being hungering, that's probably not a thing, craving something and thirsting after something, how does that fit into your story?
In a big way. Can I go back? Can we go back?
You want to go back?
Yeah, back in time.
How far back in time are we talking about?
I mean, do I have to state my age? Can we just say decades? Okay, we're back decades.
Yeah, we just went back decades.
We just went back decades.
With a record scratch.
Growing up, I was constantly a people pleaser to the max. My whole life, when I think of it in the terms of hunger or thirsting after something, was thirsting after other people's happiness and other people's approval. As we know as adults, you are never going to fill that void, whatever that is inside of you, with other people's approval or acceptance or opinion of you. That's fleeting. It's constantly changing and going. And that means you're constantly hungering instead of what I really needed was, now I know as an adult, my approval of myself. I needed to have love and acceptance and understand my own value and my own worthiness. It caused a lot of hurt up until even just 10 years ago, seeking after other people's approval, trying to make other people happy. And it was really hard. As a woman, as a girl, just as a professional, as a mom, it was incredibly difficult.
Do you know Christina Aguilera? Are you friends with her?
Yeah, we're hanging out right after this. We're going to get coffee.
Fair enough. She does have a song, What a Girl Wants, What a Girl Needs. I don't know where in the archive that was stored at. Gonna have to check the file storage on that. What you were saying made me think of that.
Yeah.
This idea of what a girl wants, what a girl needs. Now, listen, my wife and I are raising a girl. We have one. It feels like she's going to be 27 next week, even though she's only 18, almost 19. I just wonder what her world is going to look like for her. People pleasing, it seems like a common issue. Mm-hmm. How did you come to understand that, one, you had it, and then two, how did you fix it?
I think that I always knew that I had it, but I wore it almost like a badge of honor. The way that I phrased it to myself, and even when other people would call me out on it, was I'm fine on my own. And I don't really have a lot of preferences. Let me give you a simple example. It would be like, where do you want to go for dinner? Even my husband would ask me, where do you want to go for our anniversary dinner? And it was always, where do you want to go? I'm okay with anything. If you made me make a decision, it was really difficult because I had never really thought about what I wanted, what I needed. And I phrased it though, like, I'm fine. I just like making other people happy. I think what really shifted it for me was I had kids. I knew that in order for them to be full and happy and live the best life that they could live, they needed to be their own person. And I have 4, and they're all very, very different. That difference is beautiful. They were perfectly and amazingly made just the way they are, and not one of them is alike. I saw them as they were growing up. I realized they wanted to have what the other one wanted, or wanted to have what their friends had, or wanted to be this person, or wanted to be that. And it broke my mama heart, to be honest. I want you to be you, and so proud of who you are, and recognize your areas of opportunity and challenge, but also just really embrace the beautiful gifts that you were given. Looking in the mirror, I couldn't say that I was doing the same, nor had I ever done the same. And it was a big slap in the face. We're punching, not hugging ourselves here when we're people pleasing. I think that it made me really take a deep dive into who am I and what makes me and my foundation rock solid, so that what's happening around me doesn't matter. And I can just ask myself the question, okay, what can I do about it? Or what role can I play in this? And how can I benefit this situation and myself and my family? And I think that was the turning point, is recognizing I don't want my kids to do this. this. I don't want my kids to be people pleasers. I want my kids to worry about who they are, not even worried, but just be so strong in who they are and their foundation and loving themselves. And I think that was the big turning point, my kids.
So take me back again, time travel with me to 16-year-old Megan, 12-year-old Megan. Are those people-pleasing traits alive and well and flourishing? And I'm choosing the word flourishing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I think there are a couple of big pieces to that. When I was a little girl, I was sexually abused by my uncle. The way that our family was set up, I knew pressure wise, we had a really big family and a really close family, and all of our family get togethers were with everybody. And I knew that if I made a huge deal out of that, I'd be breaking our family apart. And a little kid having that kind of pressure on their shoulders, I couldn't do that. I couldn't stand up for myself and let everybody else down in my mind as a little kid. So the younger I was, I think the more real that was. And then it just established a pattern. Yes. I mean, even as I think of myself as a 16-year-old girl in high school and the roles that I played in my friendships and in clubs and in soccer teams, it really was always 100% a supportive role, which is amazing, but at the cost of myself and what I needed and what I wanted and what I would put aside that I needed or I wanted for other people. I would even plan my birthday parties around what I think my friends would want to do instead of what I would want to do. I wanted them to enjoy it as much as possible. It was literally pervasive in every way, shape, or form. When I was asked what I wanted for my birthday or what I wanted for Christmas, I would frequently say nothing or give a very small list. I didn't want my parents to spend a lot or to be stressed about trying to find things that were difficult to find or buy things that were expensive. All they wanted was to get me the gift or a thing that I really wanted. And I couldn't do that. Yeah, it was rough. My grades 100% defined who I was. I remember one time on a third quarter report card in 10th grade in Spanish, I got a B+. And it was the worst thing ever. Parents were so proud that I had straight A's, and they were so proud of who I was being team captains and presidents of clubs. And I couldn't not do that. And it had nothing to do with me wanting to achieve those things. It was that I wanted to make them proud. I wanted to have this resume that they would be so incredibly proud of. And looking back on it, that's brutal as a kid to have that kind of pressure that who I was and my whole identity was tarnished by getting a B+ in Spanish on a third quarter report card. That's a lot of pressure.
That is a lot of pressure. I think what's amazing to me about what you're sharing already is you hear nowadays kids talking about the pressure, the peer pressure that they're under. And I'm not asking how old you are. I'll tell you me. 46 almost. I think about the pressure that I felt like I needed to be something I wasn't. Wasn't somebody put that pressure on me. It's because I wanted to be noticed. See, I grew up in a family of 4. It was my brother and I for a really long time. And then right around 1989, 1990, my cousins actually were sexually abused by their dad, and they were taken from him, rightfully so. And he went to jail for some neglect stuff, mainly more neglect than sexual abuse, by the way. So that's how sick our society was back then. Yeah. So they came to live with us. So then it went from my brother and I to then these 2 girls, cousins, which really became sisters in all intents and purposes. That's what they are, even to this day. I don't consider them cousins. They're my sisters. And everything that they brought, all their baggage, all their stuff. Well, what that also did is it shifted the dynamic, obviously, in our house dramatically from my brother and I competing for love. Now there's 2 other people competing for love. And then my dad, being the Marine, always gone, competing for love when he got back, because he would shift the dynamic again when he would return from God knows where. And the thing about it is I learned from a young age that if I didn't stand out, if I wasn't loud, if I wasn't obnoxious, social traits that probably most people possess, I struggle with on a lot of levels. I want to be noticed. I want to be seen. And how that shows up in life has been a struggle, truly. And so the flip side of that, how we're somewhat unique in some respects, as you're already saying, your kids are even unique. I think you and I are even unique more than just male, female. I would have craved what you maybe had as far as your parents wanting you around. At least in my house, it seemed like, I don't know if it's accurate, but it seemed like my parents could care less if I was there or not there. How, as a parent, all the stuff that shaped you as a kid growing up, especially the abuse that you talk about, horrific. No one should ever have to walk through that. But how did that growing up years then shape you into the mom that you became?
Great question. I think as parents, all of us should take a deep look at our childhood and the things that we loved and the things that we hungered for, try to do better. I assume positive intent about everyone. I assume that everyone in any moment of life is doing their best that they can in that moment. And some bests are amazing and some bests hurt. I assume that whatever is happening in their world that they're doing the best. And so never for a second do I look at my parents and think that they were anything but amazing. I'm not even sure that they put this pressure on me necessarily. I mean, it could have just been something that was wired within me. It could have been accumulation of all of what had happened in my childhood that formed my brain pathways the way that they were formed and caused me to do that. There's no blame there, but I definitely look back and a lot of attention was spent on my sister. She was a little more difficult behavior-wise. She struggled a bit. And I think a lot of it was probably the same as you in that I wanted to have attention, but I saw the negative attention she was getting. I didn't want to get that. And I didn't want to put that on my parents. As an adult looking back, I recognize I don't think that that was the case. And I don't want my kids to feel that way. I want every single one of them to feel so secure and so loved. And I want every single one of them looking back on my past, recognizing I didn't like me. I didn't love me. I didn't believe in me. And I don't want any of them to ever feel that. I want their failures to be a lesson and not a definition or an identity. And I want their wins to be just that, a momentary win. And again, not a definition and an identity, because none of that has to do anything with who they are inside, who they are to the world and how they were made. All of that shaped me and almost protecting them in their unique individual selves. I work really hard at allowing them to be exactly who they are and having their brothers and sisters recognize that who they are is beautiful and amazing and that it's different than the other person, and recognizing those differences, which I think will be a beautiful thing for the world. Everybody's different and they'll recognize the uniqueness and the beauty in each and every individual person. I think that definitely shaped how I parent for sure. And I think people pleasing was a big piece of that because I don't want them to do that. But I also want to make sure that what they are striving for is something that is going to fill them inside and is going to be sustainable. And you know, Neil, I'm concerned a little bit about our youth today. Think of your 18-year-old daughter. In that age right now, I don't know if she is on social media, but Instagram and TikTok, they are really big way that kids nowadays and adults are getting hits of dopamine, which is what causes our joy in life. And they get a new hit every time they scroll over something new. But what they also are getting is pressure from society and from our culture to be different, to be perfect, to have more fun, because that's what we see. Social media is either the strong victimhood or the amazing wins. And there's nothing in between. And it almost encourages kids to identify themselves as either a victim with a horrific story that they can share, or as somebody that needs to strive for the biggest, the best, the brightest, the sparkliest. That's kind of scary to me because most of life, as you and I know, I think, lies right in between. What that causes is for them to have this thirst for more all the time when things are just fine, when things are going along, we're just cruising, like life is chill and good. It's almost not enough. And yet that's the beautiful part of life, when you just get to be and you just get to live this life that you have. And there's nothing super exciting happening and there's nothing horrific happening. And that's the sweet spot. We are shifting away from recognizing that that's what's amazing in our world. And you get to build that life, whatever that middle part looks like. And the rest is kind of just circumstances. I'm trying really hard with my kids to have them recognize the beauty of life, all of it, the whole spectrum, not just the exciting dopamine hit part and not just the victimhood that gets you attention, but everything in between.
I am a little concerned on a global scale what life is going to look like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, even 5 years from now. Where are we? Are we still, again, wanting to punch people or hug them first? And listen, I think there's beauty in what you're saying. Social media is great to help promote businesses, to bring about products, to share podcast stuff. All of that is great. I agree with you 100%. It does feel like these two extremes. You have the victim mentality of, again, as you're saying, horrific thing that happened to me. And then you have this other thing where you got to be like me. You got to buy these, 5-step makeup process to make yourself gorgeous again. I don't know what to do with that.
I'm not sure there's an answer. I know our answer, my husband and I, we went off social media. So we have it for our businesses. On a personal level, we're not on it. And the most beautiful thing happened when maybe it's not beautiful. It was it was astounding, I guess. When that happened, when I go onto social media now, so my business is all very positive tips and tricks and hacks and things that you can do to be motivated and inspired and love yourself and like all those things. So when I go onto social media now and I scroll, that's all that's there. Not me, everybody else in the world that has amazing inspiration and motivation, stories to help that you can relate to really help you love who you are and love life. That was not what was on there before, because that's not what I was clicking on. That's not what I was looking at. The dopamine hits of the cruises and the beauty and the houses, all of that was what I was clicking on, or these super horrific, sad stories. And that's all that was there. There was nothing in between. And since I stopped, and I don't click on anything, now it's just based on what I post or what I happen to be a part of or am tagged on. And it's just the most inspirational, motivational experience when I go on. And that was unintentional, but that tells you how that algorithm really is feeding, if you will, that thirst or that hunger for what you're missing. Is it that you don't have whatever it is, the houses, the cars, the vacations, the whatever? Is it that you don't have amazing trips with your friends and fun? Is it the beauty that you think you're missing? Like you said, with the makeup hacks and the hair hacks, you're struggling as a parent. So it's like all of this parenting advice and or horrific stories. Or is it that you're missing the drama or you feed into the drama? And so those are the stories that you get. And it's just feeding that. And so that hunger gets deeper. You need more of those hits. And so it gives you those. It's a scary machine, to tell you the truth, that can be used in such an amazing way. And yet we don't use it intentionally. And because we don't, we're subconsciously getting fed what we're missing. Instead of going inside, finding out what that is and why we feel like we're missing it, it's scary. I agree with you. I don't know what it's going to look like in 5 or 10 years. We need more hugs.
Well, my nephew just started middle school this last fall.
Oh, big middle school.
And first off, I remember when he was a little kid, and now I feel super old because he's in middle school. You know, my brother-in-law and I were talking, and I just said, I just don't even know what his world is going to look like when he's out of high school. What's that world look like?
Yeah.
Technology is just at such a fast pace, and it just seems like can't even keep up with that. It feels like it's so demanding, and there's so many demands on us as people. Was there a slowing down? I need to find that inner peace in myself. How did you do that?
Great question. I started spending time with me. I don't need weekends away or big long spa days. It was, simple, just, I call them brain dumps, where I have some sort of question or problem and I give myself 10 or 15 minutes and just dump all the thoughts. Remember one in specific, when I was really trying to figure out this people pleasing thing, was, why do I care so much about what other people think? That was my specific question. And things came out that seemed super obvious. And then I always ask the question, okay, well, what else is there? And something that came up is, I don't trust my own opinion. I don't really like myself enough to know that what I want is important enough. Really deep things like that. And I would dive into each of those little by little. I mean, this is 10 or 15 minutes at a time, sometimes just a couple times a week. So asking myself that question, like, why don't you trust yourself? Why don't you like yourself? And telling the whole truth. So yes, I maybe have these things I wish I hadn't done, or maybe have these qualities that aren't my favorite that I wish were better. What else is there? And when you dive into who you are, you have some awesome stuff about you that I think a lot of times we aren't willing to be proud of. I think part of the people pleasing that I really liked, I wanted to keep. I'm super nice. I'm just a nice person. I choose on purpose to love every single person on the planet. I might not like them and I might not want to have a relationship with them, but it's easier for me to love them. It feels better than to hate them. It takes a lot of work. I think that's amazing. I am pretty intelligent. I'm pretty quick to learn. It's just these little things. And I pulled out a whole bunch of them that I was like, man, you're pretty rad. Okay, what don't I like? Well, I don't like that I don't keep commitments to myself. Okay, well, let's work on that. I don't like that in this area, I don't trust my opinion because I just don't know anything. Okay, well, let's spend some time knowing the things so that I can trust my opinion. I think all of that, I found that I really didn't like selfish people. Okay, well, is it okay though to be self-sufficient? And is it okay to be proud of yourself? Those aren't selfish things. And am I those things? So it really was going down all of these little rabbit holes to figure out who I am. Just who am I with no one else around, no circumstances happening? And what are those pieces that I love and being really proud of those? And what are those pieces that I don't like and working on them. And when you spend time in silence doing these things by yourself, for yourself, literally 10, maybe 15 minutes at a time, the shift is dramatic. And now I can confidently say, I love me. I like me. And there's things I'm working on for sure, but that has nothing to do with the amazing person that I am. And I'm only getting better. And I can confidently say that I do have gifts to give to the world and to my children. I think that's where it shifted. And you know, Neil, if people put down social media for like 10 minutes a day and did just this, it would be absolutely amazing for them, the results that they would get. And you're feeding at the same time those holes that you have. You're finding that love that you're looking for, that attention that you're looking for. You're just giving it to yourself. You'll find out that's okay. You'll find self-approval and you'll find self-love and you'll find answers that you didn't even know that you were searching for. That's how it all started, is literally just spending 10 or 15 minutes with just me, even just a couple times a week. We were talking before we started recording that I get up at 4:00 in the morning, and that's because I spend time with me. And I do the things that I want to do in the morning to get myself ready for that day and setting my intentions and finding that mantra that today is going to carry me through, whether it's a busy day or it's going to be a hard day, or I just have a bunch of stuff I need to get done and I want to rock it. That's what that time is for. Yeah, it really allowed me to figure out what I'm missing and give myself that, whatever that was. And depending on the time of year, depending on the day, it's different. I heard myself. And truly, the crazy thing is the loudest voice in your head and the only one you hear all day long is yours. And it allowed me to change that story that is yelling at me from the inside to one that serves me instead of one that holds me back. But you can't do that if you don't listen, and you can't listen if you're not quiet. I know that sounds simple, but that's where I started.
I don't think it sounds simple. For some, they hear you and they're like, well, that's awesome for Megan. Great job. Great job, Megan. 4 a.m.? No, that's not me. The thing that I have found over the last almost 7 years now of podcasting is a couple of things. So the first thing I found is it's amazing how well I hear when I have headphones on.
Yeah.
In fact, my wife made the joke one time. She said, you know, you're a great listener when you have your headphones on and you're doing your show. Can you like wear those all the time? She really
24 hours a day.
She didn't make that joke quite like that. She'll pinch me for that. It's this idea that I do listen better when I have headphones on. I really do.
But why?
The why I can't figure out is you talk about these loud voices, these loud ear-piercing voices. I don't like quiet. I will find every reason in the world to have some type of noise or stimulant. I cannot sit in a room of silence. I have to have something on. And I had somebody recently say, why? Why do you need that? To what you were just saying, I don't want to hear my own voice.
Mm-hmm. And it gets so loud.
It does.
When you're quiet.
Yes. Doesn't matter what doobly-doo I do over here. I can't turn down my own voice. I just can't. Part of it is, again, going back to, like you're talking about, childhood, going back to, and again, not that my childhood was traumatic, sexual abuse of any kind, that wasn't on the table. My parents were good people. They just were hurt people, and hurt people sometimes hurt other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just how life is. Struggling people help people struggle more.
Yeah.
I really love what you're saying there of trying to sit in the stillness. I'm saying trying for me. Trying to sit in the stillness. I am. I'm trying to sit in the stillness and just listen.
Yeah.
I think there's so much power in that.
There really is. You said 4 a.m. and it doesn't have to be 4 a.m. That's because that's when I have quiet. So I have 4 kids. They're all little, 10, 8, 5, and 3. So once they get up at 6 a.m., my whole day is getting them off and to their little places, then working in just the time while they're gone to the best of my ability so that I get to pick them up and spend time with them and do their homework and play and their sports. So I don't have that opportunity. A lot of people do. Maybe they have that opportunity during lunch, or they have that opportunity mid-afternoon, or they have that opportunity before they go to bed. It's not for you, Neil. Maybe it's not 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe it's 2. Maybe it's just 2 minutes of listening, because that's the one voice that matters the most. The only one. And unless it's telling you something that is serving you in life, then it is harming you and holding you back from who knows what, even if only loving life more. Even if that's all that it's holding you back from. Maybe there's no big goal or big dream, just truly being able to experience life in the most amazing way. And so it can be like little tiny pieces. Maybe it's just 2 minutes. Like, hey, Neil, what do you have to say to me today? What is it that you need to say? I want to hear you with your headphones on.
That's the challenge. Again, I just feel like it's a practiced thing. I'm going to wake up and immediately I'm going to be able to do this, like breathing or tying my shoe. It's not going to be something like that I don't have to think about. I'm just already ingrained. I know what I'm supposed to do, loop, swoop, and pull. It's as easy as that. What you're talking about really sounds like a discipline and a learned skill. I'm right-handed by nature. I've thought about for years trying to teach myself how to write left-handed just to be fun and make my brain work hard. Maybe that'll prevent Alzheimer's. Who knows? I don't know.
Probably.
The idea that, again, this practice skill, all have these great aspirations. We all have these moments in life where we want to be something we're not because we feel like what we are isn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
Did a whole season on the show called Are You Enough? And I talked to people who have struggled with, guess what? Not being enough.
I would bet most people do.
When I started doing this Hungry series, I thought, man, this is just resonating with people that they're starving, truly, for something that is really going to satisfy. And I love Oregon from the standpoint, I can't believe I just said that, but I do love Oregon from the standpoint of its beauty.
Yeah.
It's so vast. And the horizon when you get to the ocean is amazing. And all the things here look amazing. Feels like it can't be grabbed. It can't be touched. It can't be held on to. I'm wondering about you is it sounds like you found something that people really can hold on to. Now, how does that relate into the work that you do and the help that you providing for folks?
Ties in directly, relating back to the hunger situation. People are starving for something. Everybody is just a little bit different. The only person that knows what you're starving for is you. And yet, here we are in such a loud world and a busy world, and we have just distraction on demand at our fingertips, and we use it like crazy. And so one of the very first things that I do with any of my clients, I work with people who want to have a 10 out of 10 life. And I'm not talking about all the houses and all the things like that. That isn't it, because that doesn't satisfy that. The ones that are truly willing to live life. In the world, there are a ton of different emotions, and 50 are good, 50% are good, 50% are bad. Those people that are willing to feel and live all of those emotions with grace, not that they're easy, but that are willing to just truly enjoy the whole gamut of life. And this is where I start, is like, let's figure out where you're hungry. We need to solve that first before we change anything else. And the very fastest way to find out what you're hungry for is to stop and listen, to pause and hear the story that you're telling yourself, because you'll make it really, really clear. Very first thing that I do is I have them do, again, kind of a brain dump. They're just getting it all out. And for me, with them, because I'm working with them one-on-one, the question is, why are you here? Make them do that brain dump on their own, not with me. And they just write down, without any sort of organization, everything that comes to their mind, especially those things that repeat. Then I dive deeper. In that, I can tell that they very rarely are telling the whole truth. I dive deep into that. And then we kind of put that aside for a second. That's very telling for me. Kind of put that aside for a second. They tell me all about them, everything. And I let them just tell the story as it is. So sometimes it comes out very victim-y, and sometimes it comes out with just buffering to the galore. This happened, but it's okay. And they just glaze over like all the things. And that's very telling to me too. And then I can show them what they're hungering for and how the story they're telling about that is shaping how they're experiencing everything, how they're making the decisions that they're making and why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. And then we decide what to do, because there's usually more than one. Everybody would be willing to just put the world down for just a couple minutes, whether it's in the morning or in the middle of the day or whatnot, and just listen to ourselves. We have a story to tell to ourselves, and that story is important. And working on that little by little. Again, you don't need to go on a massive retreat, although those are cool. You don't need to go away for days at a time, although that's fun. It's tiny little moments. And maybe for you, Neil, not to put you on the spotlight, but for you, maybe that question is, why don't I like quiet? Answering that, to its fullest extent. And when you think you're done writing, ask yourself the question, what else is there? And just see what's in there that hurts, and see what's in there that needs attention, and see what's in there that you didn't even know was so loud. You never put on headphones for yourself.
I can tell you why I don't like quiet. Sometimes I feel like, because, feelings are facts. I've heard that somewhere.
Yes.
Somebody said that. Yeah, absolutely. Feelings are facts. They never give wrong directions in any form or fashion. That if I sit quiet long enough, again, I'm going to have to hear my voice, and I'm going to have to maybe hear the things I don't necessarily like about myself.
Yep.
And I think that's the problem is sometimes we don't want to hear the things we don't like about ourselves. We want to hear all the good things about ourselves. We don't ever want to hear the bad things about ourselves. Nobody wants that. But I think to your point, there has to be a balance of good with the bad. There has to be a balance of self-reflection and self-change.
Yeah.
And if we don't have those things, that's where the problem comes in. See, I think it's Atlas that's holding up the world.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's Atlas. I Googled it really quick. And I feel like, again, that if I don't have my phone in my hand, the world somehow is going to stop moving without me.
It's just going to explode.
I'm like Batman. I'm there to save the day. It's going to somehow not go on without me. Because there was a period of time where I thought, I just got to post every day about the show because everyone's going to know how amazing my podcast is, which it is amazing.
Yes.
If I don't somehow post about it, nobody's going to know about it. Nobody's going to hear it. And I got to do it every morning and just really faithfully posting for like 3 months straight. By the way, nothing changed. For the record, spoiler alert, nothing changed. And I remember like on the 91st day, I thought, okay, here it is. It's going to happen.
The day.
I didn't post. And you know what? The sun still woke up and showed up and the day still went on and nothing changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, it still went on. It still happened. Tuesday still took place. Wednesday, Thursday, it still happened. I think that's the other problem that I run into, maybe others do as well, this idea again of FOMO, that somehow they're missing out if they don't have their phone in front of them. I'm guilty of that. Like I'll be watching TV and scrolling. I'm like, how can I can't even pay attention to the show. I'm like, hey, what just happened? My wife's like, well, if you put your phone down, you would have seen what happened. I was like, got me there.
Solid point. That is very true. I think you are missing out if you don't stop. You're missing out on is the person that's most important in your world, and that's you. And what if you are Atlas? And what if you are holding up the world? Don't you want to be the strongest, unbreakable, unstoppable person that you can be? And the only way you can do that is to be strong in yourself. You said you don't like quiet because you know that you don't want to hear all these things about yourself that you don't like. Well, you need to hear them. Then you also can ask the question, but Neil, what do I like? Why am I awesome? That's not the whole truth. There are these things that I don't love. And maybe there's things I need to work through from the past. And maybe they're just personality traits that I kind of wish weren't so ingrained in my head. And there's all this dark. So then ask yourself, okay, but what's the whole truth? What's the light? What's the awesome part of Neil that I'm not giving credit to? Why do other people love me so much? Ask yourself that, because that feels really good. I have made myself cry during these sessions on multiple occasions, and my clients will tell me the same thing. They're like, that was really hard. And all you're doing is writing on a piece of paper. But it is hard because it's feelings and they're deep and they're heavy. There's tears on both sides. There's tears on the hard things and there's tears on the amazing things too. When you really become comfortable with who you are and you love that person and you're working on those things that you don't love so much, there's a magical switch that happens. I think so many of us live in a reactive state. We are reacting to our circumstances. We are reacting to and almost forcing that reacting by the scrolling and by the watching. And instead, when you become so comfortable with yourself, you start responding in a way that's true to you. And that feels better than any sort of reaction you could ever have. You can't truly respond if you don't have your Neil filter on, if you don't know what that filter is, if you don't know who that man that's driving truly your world is. And that's what that pause, that moment of silence will give you. And it will fill every hunger void you have. Little by little, it will literally solve your hunger.
So in a sense, we could end hunger in one fell swoop. Megan, what you're saying, there's some truth to it. I hate to admit it, but there is some truth to it. And there is probably some power in what you're saying. I got to say, there's probably still some skeptics in the room that say, you know, that's awesome for her. That great. Sounds like Neil's going to do that. Okay. High five to both of you. Hug it out. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm okay with who I am. What would be, and maybe you were this way, who knows, maybe 5-10 years ago. Let's go back in time again.
Great job.
What are the 4 words that Megan needed to hear maybe 5 years ago that really could have changed her world?
I think you said it earlier in that series. I think I needed to hear you're enough. There's no accolade. There's no award. There's no title. There's no amount of money. There's no amount of friends. There's no compliment. There's nothing that would change that. You are enough and nothing can make you more, and nothing can make you less enough. That you, as you are, exactly the way you are are enough. And there's no mistake you can make, no fail you can experience that will change that. Like I said, the opposite true. There's nothing that's amazing that you can do or that you can experience that's going to change that, period. You are enough exactly as you are. I think that's what I needed to hear. That was only 3 words. You are enough.
That's the challenge that we run into in this society is we're all craving something. I don't care who you are. I think on some level, we're all craving something.
Yes.
Whether it's notoriety, whether it's success, whether it's beauty. And I think the distractions come in and we as a society don't know how to deal with them. And so we try to mask them and like, oh, that's not a distraction. That's okay. Our marriages are failing. We're failing as parents. We're failing as professionals. We're failing as all these things. And then we sit in the mess and the muck and we're like, it's not that bad in here. It's not that messy in here. It's not that stinky, smelly, whatever in here. It's not that bad. And we kind of get along to get along.
Mm-hmm.
The interrupter in that is being okay to sit in the silence, being okay to hear our voice and do that mental dump. I just think that's powerful. So Megan, if people are interested, which they should be, in knowing more about how to do that, the processes, and maybe the Megan ecosystem, as I'm lovingly calling people's worlds now, how can they subscribe or know more about, again, all things Megan?
Yeah, they can go to meganbennellcoaching.com. That's my website. They can follow me on Instagram, which is meganbennell.lifecoaching. I also have a podcast called Empowered and Unstoppable, and it's truly focused towards women. All my guests are women. They're all incredibly successful, high-powered women. We break down into what's most important, which has nothing to do with their fame, their money, their any of that, so that people can relate and really understand that all of these women went through things to get to exactly what I'm talking about. So where they feel comfortable, happy, confident, no matter the circumstances. And that's what allowed them to really become the success that they are. We're constantly giving little tips and tricks like I did here of what they can do, little things they can do on their own. Yeah, I mean, I think those are all a great place to start, and they can always reach out. You can schedule an appointment with me at any time, totally free. And if nothing else and you decide not to move forward, I can help point out a couple things, give you a couple suggestions that can kind of start that journey.
They don't have to be like Atlas and carrying the world on their shoulders and hoping that somehow that one day they can put it down.
That's right. And carrying the world on your shoulders gets really, really heavy and impossible when you feel broken on the inside. And so even if that is their goal, then let's at least fix that.
But it's nice to have a friend in the corner, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who doesn't want a friend in the corner?
That's right.
Well, Megan, let's play our game. It's called Heel Hustle. My friend Zach is going to tell us more about that. Zach, take it away.
It's now that time in the show to play the fastest growing game in the podcast world. We call it Heel Hustle. Today, our guest will try to answer all 6 of these questions in 60 seconds or less to win a prize from our prize closet. Audience, feel free to play at home. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Ready, set, hustle!
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
One person you would trade places with for a week.
Oh, my husband.
Why him?
We just live a very different life, even though we live it together. And I would love so much to experience dadhood versus momhood.
Fair enough. Guilty pleasure.
Oh, probably running.
Oh, wow. Okay. Never would have guessed that. Best compliment ever.
I want to be like you.
Aw. Worst piece of advice you've ever received. Worst piece of advice.
Ooh. Probably like a marketing situation. Like you should go with this guy, pay him $5,000 or he'll change your world. That was 0. No.
What is something you wish you were better at?
Playing poker. My husband plays poker. I want to beat him.
I know a guy. What's something that never fails to make you laugh? Oh, man. All right.
Dang it. My kids.
Your kids. All right. I had a feeling it was the kids.
Yeah.
It's usually a kids or fart sounds. Those are popular choices. Comedy, also popular choice. Well, Megan, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate all that you gave, all that you shared. I just want to say it's really nice when you meet somebody on Facebook that they really are how they seem.
Oh.
And sometimes you don't always get that. So I just want to say thank you for being who you are and really appreciate, again, all that you shared.
Well, I appreciate you and what you do. I know that this is a passion of yours and you're great at it and you're giving a big gift to the world. And I think that that's amazing.
Yeah, we wrap it up shiny and new every week. It's up to someone if they want to unwrap it or not. I love that. All right, guys and gals, kids and campers alike. Sad day. It's a sad day when we end the season. But as we end it, think about this for a second. What is something you're still craving? Is it Captain Crunch? That's what it is, right? Oh, okay. It's not that. No, it's pizza rolls, right? That's probably what it is. It's pizza rolls. No, it's not that. It's sherbet ice cream. Still not hitting home. Okay. Chocolate cake? Anyone? No? Mozzarella sticks. That's really what it is. No? Oh, it's success. It's fame. It's money. It's prestige. It's the Jordan shoes. None of those are resonating? Okay. How about love, acceptance, forgiveness, grace? Are those the things you're really craving? I was asked once, which I hated the question, by the way, who is the hardest person to love? And I immediately had a laundry list. I was like, it's JoJo, it's Stephanie, it's all these people. Question person asked me, are you sure it's not you? Oof, that was rough. So I ask you that today. Are you still craving love from you? Not from the yous of the world, but you. Are you still craving love from you yourself? That's a question you need to ponder this week. Let me know what you think on that. OPSpodcast.com is a great place to let me know. You can, of course, let me know on the socials. We are there at OPS Podcast Show under Facebook, Instagram, and X. And, of course, don't forget this. So important. When you go, remember, when you walk in other people's shoes, you really do get a different perspective on life. I want to thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned till next week as we start a new season and we walk in other people's shoes.